Over recent years, there's been a discussion globally about whether employees should be on boards. It's a really interesting question. In some European countries, there is in fact a requirement that there be board-level employee representation. Often it's in state-owned entities and large private companies. And the topic comes up in Australia from time to time. Indeed, in some corporate governance frameworks in Australia, there are employee representatives. And in this case, public universities come to mind, where there's academic and professional staff elected positions. There's various benefits, no doubt, from having employees on company boards. There'd be better alignment on strategy and on innovation, a better understanding of diversity of views, better understanding of risk and opportunity, which feeds into strategy. But there's also some challenges that come about with the notion. By their very nature, employees, when they sit on boards, aren't independent. We'd also need to make sure that employees have good training and of sufficient seniority to be able to sit on a company board and have a strong voice. But perhaps the biggest issue is around managing conflicts of interest. By its nature, a function of the board is to employ the CEO and monitor their performance and decide their remuneration. In turn, the CEO employs everyone in the organisation and monitors their performance. But when we put an employee on the board, those hats are switched, and in that context, the employee is monitoring the CEO's performance. There's also quite sensitive issues that get considered at board level which concern employees. For example, there might be decisions around redundancies, around wages and other industrial relation matters. So how do we address some of these? Well, potentially we do that through good policy, through good process and through structure. For example, a board committee might be responsible for considering matters relating to the CEO's performance and remuneration. So while we think about some of those different structural issues and some of the challenges, there's other ways I think the boards can bring the employee voice into the boardroom without putting employees on the board. That might be having a workforce advisory board or council of some sort. Perhaps a board committee's got a particular responsibility to look at the employee perspective. You might have a director who's got particular links to employees, for example, representative bodies such as unions. Or if your board takes a portfolio approach, perhaps one director can have the responsibility for particularly engaging with employees. So it's an interesting question, should employees be on boards? And perhaps there's some good food for thought, even if you don't go to that step, how the employee voice might be brought better into your boardroom.